This is a backpacking forge. It's one
Oh,
that,
okay.
I carry whenever we go back in to camp out some wood.
Uh-huh.
And
we
go to those where you actually have to carry your whole camp in on your back.
Uh-huh.
And
so in other words, a typical mountain man could have been a blacksmith too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Back then they had everybody was skilled in different trades. Quite often, if a guy needed a pouch or a bag or something like that, he could make it. He didn't have to go to a specialist to have it made or something.
Oh, okay. Like you made your own shot and different stuff like that there.
Yeah, if you needed a spoon, the guy'd sit there and he'd whittle a spoon out to eat with.
Uh-huh.
Set you that.
What's some of the typical equipment that you have here for?
Okay, whenever I use this forge, I usually make the smaller items, you know, cooking forks and hooks and belt buckles and such as that.
Uh-huh.
What the character that I'm working up to portraying, his name was John Shields. He was basically the only reason that the Lewis and Clark expedition was able to accomplish their expedition when they went out west and what have you. About a year into their expedition, they started running out of supplies. So this John Shields he'd make up arrowheads and he'd repair gun parts and things like that for the natives as they went out to the areas there. He'd take an arrowhead and make it out of a piece of barrel band or something like that. He'd trade that iron arrowhead for 10 or 20 pounds of dried corn. That'd feed the guys for 2 or 3 days. They had 52 or 53 men in the expedition. They went through quite a bit of food each day, and they'd get into an area where there wasn't a lot of game, where they couldn't hunt deer and such as that for their food. So this John Shields would make up those things, and they'd take them in and trade them to the local people for their food stuff. Of course, they had their gardens there and all that. So basically, that's how they were able to get through the last year of their expedition.
Oh, okay. So in other words, they could use stuff in trade to get the material to make for your shot and stuff, or they could pick it up maybe at a trading post or some other places along the way then, right?
Yeah. And, just for instance, the expedition to carry their gunpowder for their rifles, and it seemed like they had a small pocket cannon with them also, a small swivel cannon. To carry that gunpowder, they had a guy that worked in lead make up casks about this big, about that long, about this big around to put the gunpowder in. That keg would hold a couple or 3 pounds of gunpowder. Okay, that lead keg, whenever they dumped the gunpowder out of it, filled all their powder horns up, it was empty, so they had the lead keg left over. That lead keg, they'd melt right down and make into the round balls, so they used up all the lead, and they didn't have to carry a lot of excess weight there.
What's some of the typical tools that you got here that a blacksmith uses then?
Okay, these are tongs, this is a hammer, this is a fire poker, of course this is another pair of tongs, this is a fire steel, this is an original, this is probably late 1700s, you see how well it's worn in here. Use that for making a fire with flint and steel. And then this is a forge blower, and of course this is my small forge pot.
So in other words, even a little small thing like that, they would actually take that out on the trail with them then, huh?
Yeah.
Doesn't that get kind of heavy?
Well, like for the Lewis and Clark expedition, they did a lot of their travel over water and with horses, and so after they got out to where they could trade for horses, they got a hold of horses and then they'd pack their equipment.
Oh, okay.
This one here, my complete blacksmith's outfit plus my lodge, all my complete camp weighs about 40 to 45 pounds. Whenever I walk in someplace like that, I don't carry a lot of this extra equipment. This is basically for display. I'd carry a tent, my campfire cooking gear, carry a small cup, tin cup like this, a small sheet metal frying pan, small sheet metal pot. My entire cooking kit would probably weigh maybe a pound. And of course you carry extra clothes, and then whatever food you're going to eat.
Now what did you say some of the items was down here that the blacksmiths usually made? Like some different hooks and things?
Yeah, this is a small belt buckle. Yeah, this is a small fork. Just a little bit longer fork here for cooking with. This is a small spike or a spike hook that you could drive into a post or a beam to hang things from. These are some more spike hooks. This is a small. I've got a small belt buckle started here. And this would be a. This would go on the side of a wagon or a side of one of these wooden boxes for tying things to the top of the box. This is an adjustable. This goes on the campfire set over there on the upright post to put your crossbar in. You have one on each side here, and that way you can adjust your spit if you're cooking a chicken or something like that. And basically that's about it. Just hooks and different types of hooks. These are a couple little hooks that go over on a campfire set, or a lot of times I'll put a rope through there and then hang my candle lantern from those.
Oh, I see. How did you get interested in something like this?
When I got out of the service, I checked into welding school, and one of the instructors there had his own ornamental iron shop.
Oh, I see.
And he asked me if I would be interested in some blacksmith work. Well, I was learning how to do something with steel, so we went from there.
Well, thank you very much for sharing with us today.
Sure thing.